Welcome back, everybody. We're diving deep today into something that you use every single day,
Yeah.
even if you don't even realize it. We're going to be talking about the vocabulary of daily routines.
Absolutely.
Think about it.
Yeah.
How often are you talking about your day?
Right.
Whether it's catching up with friends, telling a coworker about your weekend, or just even thinking to yourself about what you need to get done today,
Yeah.
you're using this vocabulary all the time.
You are. It's constant.
It really is.
Yeah. It's amazing how we structure our lives
Yeah.
and how we talk about them.
It's so interesting to think about how we even answer this simple question, like,
Right.
what's your typical day like?
Yeah. I mean, that's a question you get all the time.
Right?
You meet someone new.
Yeah.
It's one of the first things they ask you.
And it seems so simple.
Yeah.
But to actually think about it in English,
Hmm.
like, how would I answer that? And then it's like, wow, there's so many
Yeah.
ways to describe even the most basic routines.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it makes you think
Yeah.
about the words you'd use to describe it.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, you could keep it really simple. Like, I wake up, I
yeah,
eat,
if I'm at work, I go to sleep.
I sleep. Yeah.
But do you want to do that?
But who wants to sound like a robot?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
We want to spice things up.
Yeah.
We want to sound interesting and natural.
Yeah.
And I love that about going into this kind of vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
It's like going beyond just like
Right.
those basic verbs and thinking about, well, how can I say it differently?
Absolutely. Add a little more personality.
Yes, personality.
Mhm,
Exactly.
mhm.
So like instead of just saying I wake up,
Mhm.
maybe you say
Yeah.
I drag myself out of bed,
Or I jump out of bed. Right. It depends.
or I spring out of bed.
You go spring out of bed.
Depends on your mood, right?
Exactly.
That's our,
That's what's so fun about it is like
yeah.
finding those little details.
details.
Yeah, like instead of just saying I brush my teeth, you could say I brush my teeth for 2 minutes. Or, you know, I give my pearly whites a good scrub.
I love it.
You know, whatever works for you.
It's like suddenly you're adding all this personality and flair
Or descriptive.
to these mundane tasks.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And speaking of adding flair, I love the time connectors. Those are great,
Yes.
right? So like then, after, and before.
Yeah.
Those are like the glue that holds our routine together, you know?
Yes. And it helps to organize
Yeah.
what you're saying and to create that kind of
So-
flow.
The sequence, right?
Right. Yeah.
So instead of just like
Yeah.
all these random actions,
Yeah.
you can put it all together
Exactly.
into a nice story.
And make it sound more natural
Yes.
instead of just a
Um,
jumble of words.
Exactly, exactly.
So, for example,
Yeah.
you could say, after I wake up,
Yeah.
I stretch for a few minutes,
Uh-huh.
then I make my bed before heading to the kitchen.
Perfect. Love it. It's like you're telling a story of your
Yeah.
day,
Mm-hmm.
step by step.
Yeah.
And it sounds so much more
And it's clear.
interesting.
Yeah.
And it's clear.
Yes, it's very clear.
And you know what comes
Yeah.
after waking up and stretching?
What's that?
The most important meal of the day?
Oh, yes.
At least that's what some people say.
Some people say that.
Do you agree?
You know what? I think it's a very important meal.
Up there.
I don't know if it's the most important,
Okay, fair enough, fair enough.
but it's definitely
Up there.
up there. It's key.
It's key.
Yeah.
It's breakfast.
It is breakfast.
So
yeah.
it's so interesting how much variation there is in breakfast.
There is a lot of variation.
Routines
Yeah,
around the world.
for sure. Different cultures
Yeah.
do it so differently.
It's crazy. Like some people just
yeah, some guys.
grab a quick coffee and a pastry.
Right, they're on the go.
And they're out the door.
Yeah, they're out the door.
Right.
And other people sit down.
Other people, it's like eggs, bacon, the whole spread,
Yeah,
the whole thing.
the whole spread. Toast,
toast.
everything. It's a feast.
And then you've got cultures where it's like
Right.
soup for breakfast,
I know.
you know,
It's fascinating.
which is always so interesting to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think food is just so interesting in general.
Oh, yeah.
But breakfast in particular,
Yeah.
because it is so different,
It is so different.
you know, from place to place.
So it just shows you there's like
Is there-
no one right way to start the day.
Totally.
Right.
Right.
And it's so interesting to think about
It's cool.
how
that-
even something as simple as breakfast can just spark these really interesting conversations.
It really can.
And just this
And help you understand other
Yeah.
cultures.
cross-cultural understanding,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
Absolutely.
And, you know, once you've
Yeah.
fueled up for the day,
Right.
it's time to tackle that dreaded
Oh, yeah.
commute
The commute.
to work or school.
For a lot of people,
Same.
that's the worst part of their day.
It is, unfortunately.
It is,
But,
unfortunately.
you know, it's necessary for a lot of folks.
It is, yeah.
Just-
But even this necessary evil
Yeah.
can be described in different ways.
You can.
You know, you can be
Totally
stuck in
different.
traffic, you can be squeezed
Squeezed onto the subway.
onto the subway,
Yeah.
or you can be enjoying
Like
a peaceful bike ride.
a peaceful bike ride, yeah.
So it's so interesting how...
It's all in how you look at it.
Yes.
And I think
If you frame it,
the vocabulary we use reflects that.
it reflects it, yes. Like, are we
Attitude.
braving the rush hour?
Yes.
Or are we taking advantage of the time
Yes.
to, you know, listen to a podcast
Yeah.
or read a book or whatever it is?
I love it. It's all about perspective.
It is.
And it's so cool how
And it's amazing how our language allows us to do
just
that.
frame things in different ways.
To frame those experiences
Yes.
in all sorts of ways.
Absolutely.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, so we've talked about waking up,
Okay.
breakfast,
The commute.
the commute.
But there's so much more
Yeah.
to a typical day than that.
There is.
So much more.
What about all those activities
Right.
that fill the rest of
The meat of the day.
the meat of the day?
Yeah, there you go.
You know, so like work, hobbies,
Hobbies.
errands, relaxing.
All that good stuff.
All that.
Oh,
There's a whole other
into vocabulary
world of vocabulary
to dive into.
that we're just getting started with.
Yeah, we're just getting started.
We are.
It's funny how even just the word work
Right.
can encompass so many different
Yeah.
activities and
Yeah.
feelings, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, are you burning the midnight oil? Are you slaving away at your desk?
Yeah.
Or are you having
Or is it a productive day?
a productive day? Yeah.
Productive day.
Really depends, right?
It does. It does.
And I think you can see someone's attitude about their job
Totally.
through the words that they use
Absolutely.
to describe it.
I agree.
And then there's the whole world of
right.
hobbies
Yeah.
and leisure activities.
Yes. So are you hitting the gym?
Yeah. Are you hitting the gym? Are you
Are you getting crafty?
getting crafty? Yeah.
Or are you just chilling out with a good book?
Ooh, I love that. Chilling out with a good book.
Yeah, there you go.
It just sounds so relaxing.
It does. It does.
And it's so interesting how we can
Yes.
use those verbs to express not just the action
Yeah.
itself, but like the
Yeah.
energy
Yeah.
and the emotion that we
Yeah.
associate with it.
It's so true.
Like binge watching your favorite show
Ooh, yeah.
definitely has a different vibe
It does.
than just catching a few minutes of
yeah.
the news.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Very different.
There was
And I love how we can also use phrasal verbs
Oh, yes. Phrasal verbs.
to add a little more
Maybe some
nuance to
movies.
those descriptions too.
Right.
So instead of just saying I cook dinner,
Yeah.
you could say, I don't know,
Right.
I whip up a gourmet meal,
Whip up a gourmet meal.
or I throw together a quick bite.
Throw together a quick bite. Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
So many different ways.
And phrasal verbs are great
Yeah.
for just sounding
Yeah.
more natural
Natural.
and more fluent.
Yes, exactly.
And I think for a lot of us, English learners, that's like one of the biggest things they struggle with is
Right,
how to
yeah.
sound more natural.
Natural. Yeah.
And phrasal verbs are key for that.
They are.
They really are.
Okay, so we talked about like these bigger activities.
Yeah.
But what about like those little things that we do
Right. Like the
throughout the day?
everyday stuff.
Yeah, the everyday stuff.
The stuff that,
Might not seem significant, but
right, that we don't always
they add up.
think about.
Yeah, they do in terms of vocabulary.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So like running errands,
Yeah, running errands.
doing chores,
Yeah,
taking
Yeah.
care of like daily tasks,
yeah, paying bills.
paying bills,
Things like that.
all those little things
Yeah.
that keep our lives
Keep our lives running.
running smoothly.
Running
Al.
smoothly. Exactly.
And you know what's interesting is
Yeah.
those are often the things that are the most difficult to describe in another language.
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
Yeah, because it's like,
You don't always think of
think
it.
about it, you just do it.
You're just doing it.
Right.
But then when you have to actually like
Yeah, but then when you have to explain it to someone,
explain it.
it's like, ooh, how do I say that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I know, it's true.
And it can feel overwhelming.
It can. It
Yeah.
can.
But even something like, cleaning the house
Yeah. Cleaning the house.
can be expressed in so many
So many ways.
different ways. Right.
You could be giving it a deep clean.
Deep clean. Yeah.
You could be tidying up.
Tidying up. Yeah. You
You can
can
be
or
doing a quick sweep.
just do a quick sweep. Right.
Yeah.
So many options.
So many options.
And then think about all those.
Oh, great idioms.
Right. Like we roll up our sleeves.
Roll up our sleeves and tackle the mess.
Tackle that mess.
Right.
Or maybe we
Put
just
it off until tomorrow.
put it off until tomorrow.
Ugh.
Oh, I'm so guilty of that.
We all are.
I'm a master procrastinator.
Me too. Me too.
But you know what I find? helps me
Yeah.
stay on top of things
What's that?
is actually like
Okay.
creating a routine
Oh. No.
and sticking to it
Routines are good.
as much as possible, you
Yeah.
know,
They can be really helpful.
because it provides like structure
Yeah.
and predictability
Exactly.
for our lives.
Predictability can be
Yes, which is so helpful.
very comforting.
It is, especially in a world that often feels very chaotic
Yeah. No.
and unpredictable.
The world can feel very chaotic.
Right.
So having that structure
Yeah.
can be great.
It can be great. It can be grounding.
And it can also help
Yeah.
with language learning.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Because if you
do something consistently,
that's part of
your
your
routine,
yes,
then you're more likely to
Right.
remember that vocabulary.
and use it naturally.
Right.
Right. So, for example, if you go for a walk after dinner every day,
Right.
you're more likely to remember
Yeah.
that phrase and just
It just becomes
part of your vocabulary.
part of your vocabulary.
Right.
It just becomes natural. Yeah. Repetition and consistency are key.
They are key for sure.
They are.
Absolutely.
And speaking of routines,
Okay.
we can't forget about the all-important
Yes.
bedtime routine.
Bedtime routine,
Bedtime.
very important.
After all, a good night's sleep is essential
Absolutely. Yeah.
for tackling all those daily tasks
Got to be well rested.
with energy and enthusiasm.
Yeah, you got to be well rested to tackle all that stuff.
You do, you do, you do.
And it's amazing how those
Yeah.
bedtime routines
Yeah.
vary from place to place.
Yeah, it's so true.
Some cultures, it's all about
Yeah.
a hot bath and a cup of herbal tea.
And others, it's
Yeah.
a massage or a bedtime story.
It's fascinating how those little rituals
Oh,
can signal to our bodies and minds
Right.
that it's time to wind down
Yeah.
and prepare for rest.
Wind down and prepare for rest.
I love that.
And of course, in our modern world,
yeah.
one of the key steps is
Yes.
putting away your phone or
Yeah.
disconnecting from screens,
Disconnecting, yeah.
which can be so hard.
It's so hard.
It's so important.
It is
if
so
it's
hard.
Getting a good night's sleep.
It is. It is. It's so tempting
It is tempting.
to just keep scrolling.
I know.
It's so easy to get sucked in.
But that blue light,
But that blue light can really mess with your sleep.
it really can.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm really trying to be more mindful about
me too.
creating like a tech-free zone
Yeah.
in the hour leading up to bedtime.
It makes a big difference.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does.
And it's a perfect example of how
the vocabulary we use reflects our
Yes.
changing lifestyles and priorities.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And as we're talking about
Yeah.
all these different routines,
Mhm.
it's really striking me that like
Yeah.
our daily lives are just
Yeah.
this tapestry of
Mm.
small actions,
Right.
all woven together by the
It's beautiful.
language that we use
Yeah.
to describe them.
It's like a tapestry of words.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
It's really beautiful.
And it highlights.
And it makes you realize
Yeah.
that those little details
The little details
are
are
important,
they're important.
both in life
Yes.
and in language.
And in language.
Right.
It's about finding the beauty and meaning
Yes.
in the everyday
In the everyday. Yeah.
and expressing it
Yeah.
in a way that's
Yeah.
both authentic and engaging.
Authentic and engaging. Yeah.
So,
Those small moments described with
Yeah.
just the right words
yes. Yes.
can have
It's true.
the biggest impact.
They really can.
They really can.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From waking up
Or
to
wait.
winding down
Winding down,
and everything in between.
everything in between.
But before we wrap up,
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your favorite words or phrases
Oh, that's a good question.
to describe
Yeah.
your daily routines?
Oh, what a great question. You know, I've really been liking the phrase carving out time lately.
Carving out time. Ooh,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
It implies a sense of intentionality.
Right.
Like you're actively making space in your busy schedule
Yes.
for something important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about prioritizing those activities that bring us joy and fulfillment,
Yeah.
whether it's carving out time for a creative hobby,
Yeah.
connecting with loved ones,
Yeah.
or just indulging in some quiet reflection.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that we have the power
Right.
to shape our own days,
Absolutely.
even amidst all the
Yeah.
demands and obligations
Yeah.
of daily life.
For sure.
And sometimes those small pockets of time,
Yeah.
intentionally carved out,
Mm-hmm.
can be the most rewarding.
I think so.
Right.
I completely agree.
They can be.
It's those little moments of
Yeah.
self-care and mindful living
Yeah.
that can make all the difference.
Well said.
Yeah.
And speaking of making a difference,
Okay.
I want to circle back to something we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that our vocabulary can reflect our values
Yeah,
and priorities.
absolutely.
What are some other words or phrases
Oh,
that you think reveal something deeper about the way we live our lives?
that's a great question.
It is a good one.
Um, I think the way we talk about our mornings can be quite revealing.
Oh, interesting.
For instance, do you hit the ground running with a jam-packed schedule?
Uh-huh.
Or do you ease into the day with a slower,
Okay.
more mindful approach?
I love that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like our morning routine sets the tone.
It does.
For the entire day.
It really does. And I think the language we use
Right?
to describe those routines can offer insights into our personalities
For sure.
and how we approach life in general.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really interesting.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think those insights can be valuable,
Yeah.
not only for self-reflection,
Mm-hmm.
but also for understanding others better.
Totally.
Yeah, when we pay attention to the subtle nuances of language, we open ourselves up to a deeper level
Yeah.
of connection and empathy.
It's like we're deciphering a secret code,
Yes,
unlocking the hidden meanings
I
behind
love that analogy.
the words we use every day.
I do too.
It is. It really is. And the more we explore those hidden meanings,
Yeah,
the more we realize that language is so much more
Right.
than just a tool for communication.
absolutely.
It's a reflection of who we are,
Yes.
what we value,
Mm-hmm.
and how we see the world.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
And it's a reminder that even the most mundane aspects of our lives
Mm-mm.
can be rich with
Mm.
meaning and significance.
Sure.
And when we find the right words
Right.
to express those experiences,
Mhm.
we not only enrich our own lives,
Yeah.
but we enrich the lives of those around us.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
You put it beautifully.
Thank you.
And I think that's a perfect note to end on.
I agree.
We've explored a wide range of vocabulary today,
We have.
from the simple to the sophisticated.
Yeah.
And I hope you've discovered some new words and phrases to add to your repertoire.
Absolutely. I hope so too.
And more importantly,
Yeah.
I hope this deep dive has inspired you to think more deeply about the language you use every day
Yes.
and the ways in which it shapes your perception of the world.
Me too.
Remember, language is a powerful tool,
It is.
and the more skilled we become in wielding it,
Mm-hmm.
the more effectively we can communicate,
Yeah.
connect,
And I
and
can
create.
Yeah.
So go out there and experiment
Yes.
with your new vocabulary.
Absolutely.
Have fun with it
Have fun with it. Play with it. Play with it.
and see what amazing things you can express.
Yeah, and let us know how it goes.
Yes, let us know.
We'd love to hear from you.
We would.
Yeah.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into the fascinating world of language.
We will.
Until then, keep exploring,
Keep exploring.
keep learning,
Keep learning.
and keep those conversations flowing.
Yes, keep talking.
Thank you, everybody.